Hi, everybody. Jason Hughes here once again, and we are at the Hughes Brothers Theater in Branson, Missouri, and this is one more week of Born to Entertain. And we're excited to be here once again, and today I'm really excited to have my favorite oldest son, Aaron.
I'm glad I'm your favorite oldest son.
That's right. But we're excited to be able to talk to Aaron, and he's had just absolutely a ton of experience in the music business already.
A bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this?
22 years.
And
22 years.
And how old are you?
I'm 24, so yeah, started young, like everyone else in here.
But you were among some of the few of the Hughes children that didn't actually start like in the womb.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't. Well, I don't know. Mom probably was still on stage when I was in the womb, but I didn't start immediately after like the others.
I don't even know if the moms were in the show actually when you were born, because we were performing out at Silver Dollar City at the time.
That's true.
And it was just the brothers. Christina, your oldest, the oldest of all the cousins, was born, and that year. I mean, no, she was 2 when we moved here.
Yeah.
And then you were born that first summer.
Yeah.
That we were here. So, yeah.
Yeah, just a few months after.
Yeah, not too long after. And then it was that next year that we did our first Christmas show, and you guys were brought out on stage, you and Dallin.
Yeah, I didn't even know
babies.
that we were brought out as babies.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't for another year or something.
I think you were. The next year for sure we dressed you up and you actually walked
That's
out
what
on
I
stage.
remembered first.
You actually remember that?
I remember being the shepherd, if you know that part. We'd come out on stage and we'd carry a little lamb. I remember that part because I remember fighting with Dallin over who would do it. That's what I remember.
That's not too surprising.
I don't remember so much actually doing it. I just remember fighting with Dallin about who would do it.
That was at the time it was called the Wild West Theater, but now they've changed it from a theater to a charity organization. Jesus Was Homeless is where that place is now.
Yep.
And then we moved up on the Strip after that, and we were at the Christie Lane Theater. Do you remember any memories of that theater at all?
I actually do have a memory of that theater. I have two memories that are distinct. One is I remember in back behind that theater there are some stairs, and I remember Dallin falling off the stairs as a kid and needing to go to the hospital for some stitches. That's one memory. And my other memory is both these are not good for you. I guess they don't make you look good, but
make me look good.
Second memory.
I didn't push him down the stairs.
My second memory is
it's not my fault he was not coordinated.
Escaping. My second memory is escaping from the theater. I don't remember too much of it, but I remember escaping from the theater and running around outside in the grass out there and trying to get around the
because there's kind of a field in the back of that theater.
Yeah. So I remember that, and I remember being by some flowers and getting caught. Those are the things that I remember. Getting caught and being pulled back in and not enjoying that.
That is funny. So then we were there in that theater for about 3 years. So when we moved over here, I guess you were probably about 4 or 5, something like that. But so and we've been in our theater here ever since.
Yep.
And what are some early memories that you have of growing up kind of in the theater practically?
In the theater? Oh, I remember playing mostly. Most of my memories are of playing with my cousins, running around, playing tag in the auditorium.
Oh yeah. Tag in the auditorium is really what's awesome about tag in the auditorium?
There are lots of places to hide, and if you use the aisles right, you can, get them in people's way. right? Those are what I remember
So
as a kid.
They could be chasing you, and then you just go down another aisle.
Yeah,
and
you
then
just
they got to run all the way down the aisle before they can get.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
You. Yeah. So tag in the aisles is a lot of fun until
you hit the armrests with your leg. That's where.
That's true. Yeah. And that's usually when we're in the middle of doing something, the kids are running around, and then suddenly you hear this wailing coming from the seats. Oh, I fell down. But those are kind of good memories, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though some of them are escaping, but I remember coming with all the boys and camping.
Yeah, that was fun.
At the theater.
We had a sleepover / party here. Yeah, I remember that.
We did that a few times, right?
A few times, yeah. I think 2 or 3 times, something like that.
Yeah. And then we'd play, what was the game? Cops and Robbers?
Cops and Robbers, yeah. We played Cops and Robbers. We used the whole theater and the parking lot and everywhere.
So for those of you who have no idea what Cops and Robbers is, why don't you explain
it's
Cops and Robbers?
Oh, if I even remember. I think that there's the cops, right? And they're trying to catch the robbers and take them to prison, someplace where prison is. And the robbers try to run away and find an object or something that's hidden somewhere.
They have to steal.
And they have to steal it without getting caught.
Uh-huh. And then bring it back to their
and they can break people out of jail and stuff. And so it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, running around in the theater in the dark.
Yeah.
What could possibly
perfectly
be
safe.
So have you ever been in the theater at night all by yourself?
All by myself? Not all by myself. I don't think I can think of any time where I've been completely alone in the theater.
Because I've experienced that a few times.
It helped. It would have helped if you'd given me a key. Then I could have been here without you.
That's right. You never had no key. No key. Yep. Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
But it's the theater at night when nobody else is here is kind of an interesting place to be. But so growing up in the theater, what are some of the songs that you remember doing over the years that you think were a lot of fun to perform?
Oh, a lot of fun to perform. I think Mamas was a fun song, that one. Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys, that song. That was.
And who did you do that with?
We did that, it was Dallin, Derek, Jacob, and me that did that originally in the show. Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was fun, though, because we had these fake mustaches that we would wear. And
they were always falling off or something.
Yeah, well, they weren't. I don't think they fell off so
much. Or
they'd
lose them backstage.
They itched a lot, though. I remember that. They itched a lot. They had a clip, go up inside your nose, and that is not comfortable at all.
Not too good. not too great if you had a cold.
No, never. Not at all. That was a fun song. Yeah.
So there have been so many different songs and different things over the years. And what about tell us about your experience playing the violin. I mean, you started pretty early on the violin.
Yeah.
And what caused you to want to play the violin?
So I think the first time I wanted to play the violin, I was 4 or 5 years old. We had a violinist in our show. I don't remember her name anymore. Do you remember?
Marla. I think it was Marla.
Marla, yeah. She played in our show, and I would watch her all the time, and that made me. I really wanted to play, but we didn't find a teacher for a while. I think it was 2 years before we found a teacher for me. So then I started taking lessons when I was 7 years old, and I was a very slow learner in the beginning. I believe. My teacher told me the other day that I was one of the hardest to teach that she'd ever taught in the beginning. Because I spent like a year on one song, basically. So that took a long time. I try to remember that whenever I teach.
Do you know why you were such a difficult student?
Oh, I don't. I figured that I was really distracted probably and I know I didn't like practicing. I remember that. Practicing was a battle with my mother most of the time.
Oh, yeah, that first year, I think your mother was about to quit many, many times.
Yeah. Well, I remember her wanting to quit because she would always tell me that she was done. She said, "I'm done doing this," but then I would say, no, I'll practice. And so we'd get through, 2 minutes more of practicing, and then she would, and then I would start getting distracted, and she'd say, "We're quitting again," and that cycle continued for
probably
5 or 6 years.
Behind every child that ever got good on an instrument, there's a mother that went through every pain with their child.
That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah, it's the mothers who put in the real work with.
Yeah, occasionally it's a dad.
Yeah,
but often it's moms too, right?
Yeah.
One thing too with Aaron, ever since when you were young, we discovered that he's dyslexic.
Yeah,
and so I think that was kind of a part of your distraction also. Very imaginative and always visualizing things, and so if he was in playing the violin, he could probably be like imagine himself hiking somewhere in the who knows where in the jungle somewhere and not really paying attention to what was going on. So that with reading, that was kind of an interesting thing too, because we started homeschooling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so since you're the oldest or among the oldest of all of the children, you're kind of one of the guinea pigs in the beginning. Huh?
Yeah, definitely.
So do you remember trying to learn to read?
I do remember learning to read, because Cindy, my Aunt Cindy, I'll be forever grateful to how much work she put in and how much suffering I put her through in me learning how to read. I don't even know how long it was. Probably, I don't know. My perception of time as a young child is
it was kind of we hadn't really discovered that you were dyslexic really, right? We just thought he just was super distracted and just he just didn't want to, and so he wasn't. So we have a question there.
We have a comment.
Yeah.
Janice Withrow, she says that she has a son that's dyslexic, when we say it, and he is now a major in the Air Force.
Yeah. Well, dyslexia is kind of an interesting thing because it's something that it comes for most dyslexics anyway. You become dyslexic mostly because you're so visual that you and imaginative that you see things and visualize things, and so from early on you're super strong with that. And so then when it comes time to read and they say, oh, the CAT is a cat, and for dyslexic, CAT is not a cat. A cat is a furry thing that says meow, right? And so dyslexics, anyway, their brains just start to work differently, and so that they become really strong in the one area and weaker in the other area. So we were able to overcome that though. Once we discovered it, right?
Learned how to read. That's good. And I started to read a lot, probably more than most people.
We could never get him to go to bed because he was just constantly with a book, and you were reading books that. I probably wouldn't read.
Yeah, I think when I was 12, I think that's when I decided I'd read Les Mis and War and Peace.
Yeah,
in the same year. I didn't get too far into War and Peace though.
That was also the year you decided to read the whole Bible too, wasn't it? Or was that the year before maybe?
I read the whole Bible. Yeah, when I was 12, probably first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old and New Testament.
Seems like you were a little bit younger than that, because I remember having to answer questions that he had about things that he read in the Old Testament, where it was like, oh yeah, that's there. It's like, and I felt like you were a little bit young to have to explain some of the anyway, the interesting things interesting stories. But is there another question?
Gwendolyn said hi, Daddy.
Oh, Gwendolyn said hi.
Oh,
Hi,
yeah.
Gwen.
Hey, Gwen.
My daughter is watching our interview today, so.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. And so growing up in the theater has been quite an experience. Do you have any things that you really just didn't like about growing up in the theater?
Didn't like about growing up in the theater. Got to think about it.
I mean, there are probably things that you didn't like at the time, but maybe now you've realized that, those were good things. But maybe there are things also that it's like, I probably could have not.
Yeah, I think
ever done that.
Well, I think with anything in life, there are pros and cons, things that you give up in order to get something else, right? And so with show business, it's the same, where, of course, there were times where I wished that I could have done some things that my other friends were doing as a teenager, going to dances, doing whatever thing at the time, sounded fun. But, I think that I got more from that overall in the end. A lot of skills and things. I learned a lot that most people don't get to learn or experience. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that was very vague and very political.
Yeah. I try to think.
Aaron's very good at giving a good answer without saying anything.
I'm trying to think of something specific I don't like. It's hard to remember anymore.
No, I know. But what right now in the show? What songs do you like doing the most?
Okay, so it depends on which one we're talking about. In the Christmas show, I have some favorites, and in our regular show, I have some favorites. So, in the regular show right now, my favorite number is probably Halo, the violin section. We've got all the drums going and the violins and stuff, and that is probably my favorite song at this moment to do that I'm in right now.
And so Halo is the theme music to the
video game Halo. Yeah,
which we just I was just looking for the most epic music I could find, and believe it or not, it's pretty epic.
Yeah,
especially
it's
once you
music.
do it live with the live violins and the big barrel drums and all that stuff. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I agree. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah,
in the show
I enjoy playing it and doing it. It's a lot of fun. So, well, that one's probably my favorite at the moment in the regular show, and then in the Christmas show, my favorite song to do is the finale, the final song in the show, because I have a violin part that's just it's crazy.
So in both those songs, you're playing the violin.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
But that's not necessarily your favorite thing to do, though, right?
No, it's not. It just happens to be those songs I like to do. But yeah, because I enjoy singing just as much as I like playing, and I like dancing. All those things. It just happens that those songs happen to be my favorites.
What's your favorite song to sing? Could be in or out of the show.
In or out of the show. I think my favorite song to sing is the duet that I did with my wife just a while back.
Yeah.
With the
there's a
somewhere
from West
Side Story.
Yeah, that is a great song.
That was a lot of fun.
And it's a different thing rather than singing a solo, but singing a love song with the one that you love.
Yeah.
Is kind of pretty awesome.
Yeah, much better than other songs.
Especially if she's a great singer.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you married a good singer.
Yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, that could really not be great.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was dating a long time ago, I remember when I wasn't like something on my list of things that I thought I needed in a wife, but when I would dance with a girl and discover that she couldn't follow me and I couldn't dance with her, it was like it just suddenly I wasn't attracted anymore.
And there we know why Mom's a good dancer.
That's right. Not that I was looking for that, but it was something that was just important to me.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't even realize it. It's just kind of happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, having a wife that's talented, especially in our business, is not
It's
a
helpful,
bad thing.
yeah.
So yeah, in fact, tell us about your wife and you've made me a grandpa.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome.
Well, my wife is amazing and beautiful. She's watching, so I'll be careful what I say.
But you'd have to be careful anyway,
No,
because she could watch this later.
That's
too.
true. That's true. Well, she's just an amazing person, super loving, super caring, and she's extremely talented. She's taught me a lot since I've been married to her about music and about singing and also acting. She's a great actress.
Yeah.
And knows a lot about that. So she's just extremely talented, and of course our daughter. She is, how old is Gwen? She's almost 2. She's turning 2 in a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's super cute. She's just starting to talk a little more.
Yeah. I love that she has such a low, little husky voice.
Yeah.
Because both you and Elise have
higher
voices,
yeah.
Right? And then she's got this little gruff voice, which is just
she
super
sure can
adorable.
Get up high sometimes.
Oh, she
too,
can if she decides to. It's kind of like your sister.
Always hear her right in the morning,
like your little sister Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when you were. Do you remember when you were young when you declared to us that you wanted to take over the world?
Oh no, I do vaguely remember.
I think that happened probably a couple times.
Oh, I think that was like.
I remember one of the things that you said when you were young, that if you were to take over the world, you would make a rule where all girls had to wear dresses.
Yeah, I was real smart then.
Do you remember your reasoning back then?
Oh, I don't remember so much. I think that
it was so funny.
I don't remember.
I remember. I just remember you. I remember trying to explain to you that probably wouldn't be a very good idea.
Yeah.
Good luck. But no, that's funny. Well, what are some right now? You're going to school, right?
Yeah, I'm going to school for business management. Degree is what I'm working on right now.
So you were telling me about one of the classes that you had this last semester that you thought was a lot of fun. What?
Yeah.
What was that class all about?
It was just a basics of business, kind of everything wrapped into one sort of class. So they went a little bit into accounting and marketing and R&D and a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to do kind of a simulation?
Yeah, there was a simulation where they sort of simulated us running a business, a large corporation, and making all the kind of the higher end decisions, not the nitty gritty ones, but the decisions as to how much we would spend in which areas and such, and working on managing the money of the business and where that goes. So It was very interesting thing to study. I've always loved business. Growing up in a family business, I think, helped me to gain that love of that part of things. As much as I love music, the business is my kind of the other thing that I really enjoy.
And if you're going to take over the world someday, you've got to actually
I think I've given up on that one.
So, how about you're also teaching?
Yeah.
And you've been teaching for a while. But,
several years.
And Elise also teaches with you.
Yeah.
And actually a lot of people in the family teach, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of just something, a natural outcropping, right? Of what we do.
Yeah.
But what different things do you teach, and what are
tell
us just a little bit about that.
I teach primarily voice lessons, and then violin lessons, and then I'll also in kind of combination with that, I teach performance, how to hold yourself on stage and acting and those sort of things. But I would say the root of it is the voice and the violin, and then I just teach how those things, how performance and acting connect to each of those.
Yeah.
I know most people probably don't think, like, for example, most people don't think that acting is a big part of playing the violin. But I think that telling a story with your music, even if there's no words, is a really important
or the performance
part.
of it.
Yeah, or the performance of it, how you do it,
how you present yourself, how you're standing, whether you're going to move here or there, all of those elements of performance. Yeah. And we kind of started the boot camp, right?
Yeah.
And you've been super involved with our Song and Stage boot camp.
Yes,
you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the boot camp is really an amazing place and experience for anyone who wants to learn how to better perform and hone their craft, particularly if you're a vocalist. But if you also have an instrument, we have wonderful teachers who do that as well. But I think that one thing that makes us kind of unique or different than most camps is that there's a lot of time spent one-on-one with every student to help them with their specific problems or specific areas where they can improve. So really anyone can come to the camp and get what they need out of the camp.
Whatever level they're
at. Yeah. And I think that that's really unique. Really a great thing about the camp that it's been amazing to see all of the people who come to camp and have come several years, how much they've changed, and especially how much, like, they came one year with this problem, but next year that problem is gone. They figured it out. They worked on it over the year, and then they came back and they have other things that they can work on.
Right. It's just that next level that they can get to. And luckily we have people at all those. I mean, well, the truth is we just have really great instructors overall. They can usually help anybody. Really. So let's see here. I'm trying to. I know that I've always asked everybody else all of these little quick questions. Yeah, like let's see here. Who is your favorite singer?
I don't really have favorites. Are hard for me. I don't have. I enjoy so many different singers that it's hard to say. Oh,
okay,
this
just
person
say
one
that you like a lot.
I enjoy Bruno Mars, Michael Bublé, Michael Jackson, and really a lot of people.
Michaels.
I like.
And Bruno Mars actually was I don't know how many of you knew this or not, but he actually was a Michael Jackson impersonator.
Yeah.
Early in his career. So
yeah, that was one of the first things he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy so many genres and types of music. I don't really have a favorite genre, so once you say that, it's hard to pick a favorite singer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. No, I totally agree with you. That's a hard question. How about some television shows you enjoy?
Stranger Things. My wife and I watched that together. That was fun.
Yeah, that's kind of a pretty intense
show,
isn't it?
It was a creepy show, yeah, a little.
How about you? Do you have a favorite sport?
A favorite sport? I don't have a favorite sport. Probably, if I had to say a favorite sport, probably basketball.
Right.
I would say.
How about food?
Food.
What are some of the foods that you like?
I like most foods. If it's food, I like it.
I can attest that is true.
I don't know.
I remember when you were a Boy Scout. By the way, Aaron is an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
And but I remember when later on when you would go on camps. Do you remember what food you would take on a camp?
Well, it shifted a lot between 12 and and 16. When I was the young, I would just take a few like little things. I hardly took anything most of the time, like a potato or something like that.
Well, it seemed like that happened quite often, where it was just like, I'll just take a potato. And then you just throw the potato in the fire.
Well, I usually took Tobler was the one who took just potatoes. I would usually take a potato and some carrots and like some beef,
Okay.
So put those together and it works out pretty well.
Good.
It's great.
Good outdoor camping.
Yeah.
You actually got a chance to go to the what was that, the
World Jamboree, 100-year celebration
of scouting.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was went with your cousins, and that was kind of a fun experience.
Yeah, that was a great experience.
How about favorite restaurant?
Oh, my favorite restaurant. If I can remember the name. My favorite restaurant is in Niigata, Japan. That's my favorite restaurant. It's called Ikaraya. That's the one.
Yeah. So if any of you are ever
in Niigata,
and
that's
actually
the
can remember that.
Yeah.
But so bringing that up also brings up the fact that you were a missionary.
Yeah, in Japan for 2 years.
2 years, and so you can speak Japanese, right?
Yeah.
You want to say something to all of our Japanese listeners out there?
Konnichiwa, minasan. Genki desu ka? That's good enough.
Yeah, because the chances of probably...
probably no one's watching this in Japan.
In Japan, that's right. That's fun.
If they sat through it this long listening to the English, that's what would really surprise me. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. If they listen to it long enough to get to this point.
Yeah.
All right. So how about, do you have a favorite historical person in history?
I really like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. I might be
Founding
a little
fathers
split
kind of
between
guys.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read a lot of their books and autobiographies and stuff as a teenager. So, and I really enjoyed, learning about a lot of their thought processes and things. So I definitely like them.
Yeah, I remember a time when you got into wanting to learn about like Shaolin monks and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, that was when I was 12 or 13, something like that.
And then there were these hiking trails close to our house that had these long steps, and he read that Shaolin monks would
crawl down the stairs, most of the weight on their hands. So
and then they would run back up, and then they would crawl back down. Yeah. And so since these hiking trails with all of these steps were close to our house, he decided that he was going to
do that. Yeah, it's good exercise.
Running up and down. I don't know how many chigger bites you went through doing that.
I don't know.
So how about a fictional character? Do you have a favorite fictional character or a fictional book?
I don't think so. I don't think I have a favorite fictional character. I think,
there are tons of books that you
There's
like,
too many books,
right?
and things. So I don't have a favorite fictional character.
Yeah. How about these are either or questions. Are you sloppy or neat?
Depends on what and when.
I could answer that. He's more sloppy than neat.
Yeah. Depends on with what.
How about hot or cold?
Cold.
Energetic or relaxed?
Relaxed.
Fast or slow?
Again, depends on what. It
That's
depends
true.
a lot on what.
Now or later?
Later. Most of the time later, unless I really try not to.
Are you more creative or more intellectual?
I'd say I'm a pretty split down for creative and intellectual.
Are you a rule follower or are you a rebel?
Probably rule follower.
It depends on whether you think you're right and somebody else is wrong.
That's
right?
true.
If
I think that the rule is dumb, then I have trouble following it.
I know that about you.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Are you a snuggler?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that too.
Yeah, definitely.
When he was young, he could push us right out of the bed.
Yeah.
And do you prefer doing things by yourself or with others?
It depends on the thing, for sure. I enjoy doing things by myself, a lot of things, and I enjoy doing other things with other people. I think it depends on whether or not, it just, some activities are better done alone and some are better with other people. I don't like reading with other people because they're annoying, I don't like to read out loud, and, if someone's poking you or, trying to talk to you, it's hard to listen. But I like other things, I'd rather watch a movie with my wife than do it by myself. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So are you? What are some other things you enjoy doing outside of entertainment and outside of school and business?
School and business. What else? I enjoy reading. I mean, we talked a bit about that, but that's probably my favorite pastime is to have a good book. And
I know you also enjoy a good game.
Yeah, I like games. I really like games. That's true.
Yeah, strategy
any
games.
Kind of game.
Especially strategy game, right?
Board games. I like board games.
Yeah.
I usually don't lose, and I like that.
Well, it's true. Have you ever lost Monopoly?
Not yet. I think I've played a little over 100 games of Monopoly, and I've never lost.
Yeah. Are there any other games like that you've never lost?
Oh, I don't think so. See, it.
That's how much he likes money. See,
I don't think there are any other games that I've never lost. There are a few that I had pretty good streaks going, but but not never lost. Monopoly is one that I win at because I did all the math before, so I know what to do for all of it, and also with Monopoly, I've mostly played with my siblings, and they're easy to beat at most games.
That's the well. I remember when you were pretty young, your great uncle Sven came and he's a professional chess player.
Yeah.
And he taught you some fun chess moves and stuff, right?
Yeah, he gave me a book to read about it. Yeah. I don't think I ever read the whole thing. I read parts of it when I was older, but yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, we're just talking here, but anyway, are there any other comments or questions out there that we can answer for y'all?
Cambry Hallickson is Elisa's cousin, and she's just enjoying getting to know a little bit about one of her new cousins.
Oh,
there
nice.
you go.
Yeah. And Lauren Hughes says, I love you and I miss you guys.
I love you too, Lauren.
Ditto.
And a little person, cute little girl by the name of Elise Hughes says, sloppy.
Sloppy. That's my wife. She says I'm sloppy.
Well, anyone that's lived with him knows. In his brain, in his imaginative, dyslexic brain, he is organized. Because he imagines it organized, right?
No.
But in reality...
I'm more organized than you think.
He knows where...
I know where everything is.
That's right. You know where you left your socks. All right. Anyway, everybody, thanks for hanging with us, and come visit us here at the theater. We're actually in Marty's studio once again, and which is kind of one of our favorite spots here at the theater. But come see the show and see Aaron just kill it on stage, because he's really, really, really awesome with everything he does. And thanks, everybody.